Singh says Transnet did not have the capacity to handle a transaction of this magnitude and that the parastatal also had to satisfy the requirements of rating agency S&P. He was responding to the testimony of former Transnet treasurer Mathane Makgato. Evidence leader Anton Maibek read an affidavit by Makgato opposing the appointment of Regiments as lead negotiators. Makgato said she was unhappy that Transnet's biggest transaction was being negotiated by outsiders.
There was no point in time that I can recall where Regiments had exclusive and unfettered access to either locomotive manufacturers or China Development Bank. Regiments worked in concert with Transnet Treasury for all intents and purposes. They worked with the cross-functional evaluation team when they were doing the locomotive negotiations, together with Transnet Treasury and the engineers. So from that perspective, it was not as if Regiments had this and they then went off and there was no one else with them.
The evidence leader asked Singh to respond to allegations that Transnet awarded 4 different contracts to McKinsey over 4 days. The combined value of the transactions was 619 million rand, and it should have been taken to the board, but because they were separate contracts with different smaller values, this did not happen.
I would assume that having it gone to Mr. Molefe and myself in terms of value, it would have been approved by at least Mr. Peter. I don't recall if he did or he didn't, but if we have the submission documents, we can confirm that. And Mr. Chair, in my view, I would suggest that this does not amount to parceling in that it may have been services that were provided by one firm, but the skill set that was required and the service that was required in each of these items were significantly and distinctly different.
Singh will appear before the Commission again to continue with his testimony on Monday at 4 p.m. Sefako-Musi, SABC News, Johannesburg.